Don't miss the two newest hobby products from Games Workshop.
Pocket bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer with you again today, checking out the paint handle and, of course, the new water pot, which is basically a reissue of the old water pot, but still, nonetheless, it wasn't currently available for a number of years, and now we have our opportunity to get it. So, lot of talk on the internet about this new paint handle, and I got it today, and I literally was like, I held it, and I was like, does it come in a large? I'll be quite honest, it's pretty small. It's smaller than I thought it was gonna be. Now these are $8, which is way cheaper than comparable products out there on the market. I'm not sure quality-wise, but definitely comparable products out there on the market. Now, obviously you know how this works by now. It opens up and clamps to hold whatever miniature you might be working on, but we're going to put it through its paces today. And then we're going to come back and look at the water pot, which is, both of these I believe are $8. Yep, $8 releases from Games Workshop this week. So if you grab this open, oh, and we're going to talk more on the water pot about exactly how you can clean your brushes and why this particular water pot, the advantage is to using this one over, you know, just a coffee mug or something like that, right? So this particular product here, I guess it is, we use our handy dandy tape measure here to figure it out. It's about 3 inches tall. Yep, about 3 inches tall, give or take. And about 1.75 inches wide before you insert a miniature into it. Now it does separate for easy cleaning or perhaps mounting this to a tripod to do some crazy photography or something like that. Basically the handle comes off. This is your standard 1/8 inch screw. I believe it's 1/8 inch. Here is something y'all might recognize for attaching to clamps and things like that, C-stands and other things out there. And as you can see, it will hold it. So you see a lot of this with video camera or webcams and things, this size camera hole here. I think the actual video camera is actually mounted on this same thread, as a matter of fact. So pretty sure this is a standard 1/4 inch, and then there's an 1/8 inch one, which is significantly bigger for more industrial applications. Now you can see on the inside here, this is more, it does have a nice metal recess here to hold whatever you're attaching it to and take all the pressure for it. On the inside, it looks like it has 2 steel pins that have some springs attached. They go the full tang of this pressed kind of plastic, looks like a pressed plastic kind of type deal around it, and then expands and the whole system kind of holds together. But it basically, it works by the strength of these springs right here, which if they break, there really isn't a way to fix it. But at $8, I imagine you can just pretty much buy a new one. Now, what will this thing hold? What will it hold? I don't know. Let's take a look here. So first off, we know that that center recess right there is good for 25mm figures. So we'll grab a 25mm figure. There we go. Ooh, that's handy. You can tell that's a pewter figure right there. Imagine back in the day using this, it would be quite a bit top heavy, to be quite honest. But even with a pewter figure, it's gonna be pretty stable. If you put it down, you don't have to worry about it tipping over quite as much unless you give it a good whack like that. So 25mm figures, check. I actually didn't grab a 32mm figure, but I imagine it'd be pretty stupid if a 32mm figure did not fit on here. So we'll just skip that part and go right to a 40mm figure, which looks to go in the top. Yep, it locks into the top right there. It does look like it's starting to kind of separate. So I imagine after a long painting session, you may not want to leave this in here, as it looks like it's starting to kind of bow, so to speak. So we'll take that out. What else? What other systems can we use? Well, we've got some privateer stuff here, some round lips. Let's see if we can get that in there. It looks like it will hold, with the same caveat that, hey, this is starting to bow out right there, so be careful. And the smaller privateer round lip size here, which I guess would also work for Infinity and Malifaux. Looks like it sure does. Very cool stuff. So again, pewter figures, no problem. Let's try cavalry. See what we can get on here for cavalry. This is a Bull Centaur render. Does not look like we can get it in there. So the medium size cavalry, which a lot of your bikes and such are on these days, does not look like it will fit, unfortunately. Womp womp. But overall, I think at $8 each, you can't really complain. I mean, I was just taken aback at its size. You can see here, I do have rather large hands. I can palm a basketball and manhandle a football or two. So it is a little small in my hands, but again, it definitely feels just fine if I was holding it and painting something right here. So overall, I think this is definitely a good product and worth 8 of your hobby dollars this week from Games Workshop. Also releasing this week is the rehash of the Citadel water pot here for $8. I think the first one was $6, truth be told, back in the day. And it's very similar. Very, very similar. It's got a black top. Here's our old one here with a gray top. You can definitely tell it has the same relative material here, an opaque kind of light gray plastic. Over the years and the water level, using it over and over, it has stained the inside where I have not cleaned it, but you can see where I've taken particular, well, as close to attention as I can cleaning it in here. That's where it's still clean. I'm not sure if this would ever come out with any sort of cleaner. Overall, it does look to be very much the same, but feeling it here, it definitely feels the same. So it feels like it's the same material. Games Workshop 2008, Games Workshop 2008, made in China, made in China. I think we have an identical winner right here. But like I said, I believe it has gone up $2, but then again, who remembers what they had for breakfast, much less what the price of something 10 years ago was, am I right? So that's pretty cool. Now you're probably wondering, hey, what are all these little cutouts here? And if you haven't been privy to some of the tutorials and such that have been out there over the years, these are actually to put your brushes into. And you put them this way with the bristles down, because what happens is you just kind of dunk them into the water so that the water's up. It doesn't necessarily go into, well, this one doesn't have the clamps. This bomb snail brush here does, but you don't necessarily want the water going up into here because there's actual bristles in here too. It's just bent over. They take the bristles, they bend them over, they clamp them together, and that's how you get your bristles. They're actually bent and clamped inside here, right? So you don't want to get a bunch of stuff in there. You do need to, when you wash it with soap, make sure that you get some up in here so you're continuing to keep all of this clean in case there's any gunk and dirt and junk getting up in there, because if those get dried out, those are basically the roots of your hair. This is still hair, you know, unless you're running a synthetic. So you just want to be careful with that. Get it down to your water level, fill it up, and then you can just let it soak. While you're not using it, be careful that the bristles don't smash down into the bottom of this, right? So these ones can go there, and then you can see in there they're not touching the bottom. Now you're probably wondering, okay, that's cool, I can do that, I can keep them soaking, but you know, sometimes the paint dries, you know, still onto there, and I can leave them soaking overnight and I don't get the paint out. What else can I do? Well, there's some different options out there from some stuff that Games Workshop doesn't sell. And it seems kind of weird that we're doing a Games Workshop review and I'm kind of showcasing you some products that aren't necessarily Games Workshop, but there's other stuff out there on the market, most notably, and you probably heard of this, brush cleaner, the Masters brush cleaner. You can get this at any hobby store, you can get it on Amazon, and all it is it's just a soap, and you get your bristles wet, you drag them across here, you work the soap up to lather into here, make sure you get some up into your clamps, and then rinse it all out. But you can also leave it soaking in here as well. That's one great thing. Another great idea for leaving your brushes soaking is you can actually use airbrush cleaner. Make sure it doesn't get, again, up into your brushes, but you can leave this either straight or partially watered down. You don't want to put any crazy solvents or anything in here because you never know if it's going to leak out. So green stuff or green, whatever the green cleaner and purple powers and all that stuff out there, or simple green, that's what it is. That stuff might be good, but I would try it first before you leave this on your hobby desk, and next thing you come out the next morning and there's cleaner all over, eating through your desk, leaking onto your rug and things like that. Something else you could consider is the Grex airbrush cleaner. Now this was a concentrate, 10-to-1 ultra concentrated cleaner. So, you know, you only need a drop to every 10 drops of water, to put it in perspective. You don't need a whole lot of this liquid. I've had this for 2 years, and this is how much I've used. It's very concentrated. You need to be very careful. Do not disrespect that. And last but certainly not least is a more recent product that my buddy Slowfuse sells over on his website, slowfusegaming.com. This is the Gentastic Drunken Brush Goop. I just call it bomb cleaner because it is the bomb, and it's from Slowfuse, and that's his whole like moniker and shtick and stuff. This is a little bit more different. I don't know how to put it. It's more of a paste, like something you would put in your hair. His girlfriend makes this stuff, and obviously, well, the ladies know about their hair, let's be honest. So she's like, wait, brushes are just hair? I know how to clean hair. And she came up with this stuff, and it is amazing. I can guarantee you it's better than this Masters cleaner. It won't get out dried paint that has been sitting for years, like deep in the bristles. But if you have something superficially, if you were respectful with your bristles and your brushes, you will be able to get a lot of that dirt out. And if you use it going forward right now, you're gonna keep your brushes cleaner for longer. I've already noticed. And what I like to do is I make a little slurry of this stuff in this little shot glass here, and when I'm done with my brushes, I'll just rinse them in this slurry and then just kind of put them up for the night. But if you have some brushes that you want to try to save, again, if something's crusted in for years and years and years, you may not be able to salvage it, but you're going to salvage more often than not than you would think. I've saved 2 brushes so far, and I've not been able to save 2. So I'm 2 for 2 right now, which is way better odds than I was with this brush cleaner. So you can just kind of fill up the Citadel water pot and leave these soaking in a slurry of the brush goop overnight, or, you know, for a few days. I've just been rinsing it onto these and just kind of leaving it, which probably isn't as good of an idea because then it dries out, and nobody wants shampoo drying out on their hair, right? So if you had a way to kind of suspend them, I feel like that would be way better than what I've been doing, and maybe I would have a better brush saving success rate. But anyways, sorry to kind of cut in on the GW review with some other brush cleaners and protectors, but I just thought it was appropriate to go along with this water pot, because the water pot is a great product in and of itself with this feature here to hold the brushes into the pot itself. Now there's other products out there too, like with little, they look like little springs in the bottom of coffee cups. I don't know their technical name, but basically you just wash, or you just run the bristles lightly over these spring surfaces, and what that does is it gets the dried out paint, or the paint that's on there that's starting to set from your painting session, off of your bristles. So there's lots of different solutions out there, but again, this is the more readily available one from Games Workshop. And then of course you can get cleaners pretty much anywhere out there. I think GW actually has a good airbrush cleaner as well with their Air line. I don't have any of it, and I've never used it because I've been using other airbrush cleaners for years. So obviously somebody chime in there if you have experience in the comments on that as well. So that's pretty much it. 2 great hobby products, like I said, out this week: Paint Handle and the new reissue of the water pot right here.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.